A day in the life of following Andrew around in his startup. Today is July 25th, 2024 at 8:42 a.m. And we are at the place where we live. We just had breakfast. And there's a cat who's sleeping so soundly. And today I'm going to do what I always do, which is hang out with Andrew and watch him do the startup thing. And I'm gonna get dressed and ready, and I'm gonna put on makeup and brush my hair. And Andrew's gonna work on his startup, which is really cool. What's your startup about, babe?
It is an ambulance company. So it's an EMS company that does 911 dispatch and ambulance here in Indonesia, specifically Bali.
Why do you need an ambulance company in Bali? Isn't there already a lot of expats and locals that live in Bali that already have access to great healthcare and ambulances that pick them up when they get in an accident?
There is not, surprisingly. There's no real centralized ambulance service to speak of. There are private ambulances, but it's kind of hit or miss. And while some of the hospitals here are pretty decent, there's just no EMS system. So we identified like a real huge demand, and we're gonna bring the supply. And because there's a growing expat...
No EMS?
No EMS.
So what about those ambulances that we saw?
They are just private ambulances at clinics, and you call up the clinic, and maybe they pick you up, maybe they don't, maybe they take their time.
You have to pay them in advance?
You do, yeah.
So let's say someone gets in an accident, they're basically screwed if they can't go to the hospital first and pay for the ambulance in advance?
The clinic, yeah. If you get in an accident, try to get an ambulance. I heard one story where the guy they got into an accident, him and his wife, and he actually had to leave her at the scene and drive to the clinic to hire the ambulance and then come back and get her.
So it sounds like there's a lot of demand for this.
There is. There's a growing expat population here. I think there's 600,000 on the island currently, and it's growing, and you have all these people that are used to regular EMS, 911, and they just don't have it, and so we're going to provide it.
Cool. Can I follow you around and film your employees and film all the stuff? So right now, basically it's a startup, so you guys are not paying your employees right now, right?
Yeah, it's definitely a startup from the ground up. I met this crazy Welsh guy here. He has a nickname of Bagus here, which means good, handsome. And he's this guy, he's from Wales. He just has a billion ideas. We landed here and he said, hey, I'm trying to build this thing. Can you help me? And so it started just from his idea. And slowly over the months, we've collected all kinds of people, gaining more interest, people that want to work on it. We're currently very much a startup, so we're paying employees on equity and making a lot of deals, aligning objectives. But yeah, we don't have the capital to just pay people money. So it's this very
So how are you paying them?
In equity. So they get a slice of the company. They say, okay, I think this company is going to go somewhere in the future. And if I get a little piece of equity and it takes off, I'm going to make a lot of money.
So how are they supporting themselves until that happens, until they make money from you guys?
Some people have savings. Oftentimes in Bali, people come here and expats come here and then they have savings, and they try to find something to do on the island. And
side jobs.
You have people who do side jobs and teaching jobs and stuff like that. There's all kinds of different situations, but the important thing is...
One of your employees is a scuba instructor.
He is.
That's so cool.
Yep, he's a scuba instructor, and it's important not to take people who are in a bad position and can't do this whole launch phase and spend some time. If they can't support themselves financially or they don't have a way to kind of be okay in the moment, we can't really take them at the moment.
Yeah.
Because everybody at this level is taking somewhat of a risk, and that's the thing with startups. is everybody takes this risk, but the payoff could be so awesome once the thing takes off. It's like shares that are worth zero, and could just skyrocket.
Yeah.
You know, it'd be like buying Bitcoin or investing in Tesla or something like that. So it's exciting, but it's not for everybody. It's not for like kind of a worker-minded person. It's for somebody who has an adventurous spirit and wants to take a risk. And so here we are.
Yeah, I've noticed that Andrew's attitude, Andrew's attitude with this startup is very different than the previous ones. Like, this is his third major startup that he's brought like a huge team of people to work on. And it's very different this time, where he's very selective about the people he allows on board, and he's like trying to, instead of like, he's not trying to convince anybody to join, he's actually trying to tell people no and trying to like vet them, because if anyone is not able to be stable and do this, because this is like a huge commitment, it's not for the company only, it's also for the person himself. You're basically taking on a lot of risk in order to work for a startup. And it's like, imagine running on savings, trying to build your own business, but you're latching on to somebody else's business idea or business. So you're basically like, you're a part founder in a company, basically. And you can't run a company, you can't build a business if you're not stable. If it was your own business, you can't do it if you're not stable, you know, but also somebody else's. You have no idea when the income is going to come in for sure. And Andrew's attitude with this one, I've noticed, is like he's very careful about letting anybody work on this, because it's not free. It's not like anyone is giving away their time as a donation. It's not volunteer. It's not like a sacrifice that people are making for you. It's basically an investment for themselves. The reward that they get out of it is potentially huge. But if a person joins this kind of situation that doesn't have their savings, doesn't have side income, doesn't have a way to survive while they do this, it's bad for them. Obviously, they're gonna feel cheated. Oh, like, I didn't make any money. I worked so hard and I didn't make any money. So they're gonna feel bad. They might even blame you. But it's also bad for the company, because the company can sink because a key person that's working on it is not able to perform and do a really good job. And it's like, you know, when you're giving away equity, it's much harder to get rid of people than if you're just paying someone a salary. Because if you pay someone a salary, they come on board, you don't like them, you can fire them. You can replace them easily. You can't replace somebody that has a piece of your company. That's really, really hard. And you have less of that piece of that company to give to other people if you do that. So this is just a few things that I've been noticing over the past few years of watching Andrew work on startups. Some of you guys that are watching might know me personally, might know us personally. You might have actually like seen a lot of the process in person, because this is like, these startups that Andrew works on tend to be very big, huge scale kind of things, like government level type of stuff. But if you haven't, I hope you enjoy this video, and I'm gonna basically try to film as much as I can and just like get a glimpse of a day in the life of Andrew's thing. But I won't even get that much, because all like the cool stuff already happened. Like, they already met with ambulance providers and hospitals and all the different people. They've already, like, I probably won't get any like investor people that are like looking to invest on board, things like that, but I'll just get the nitty gritty, anyone that is okay with being filmed, I'm gonna try to get. And I'll get some of Bali, because Bali is very cool and pretty, and I'll have my makeup on, so it won't look as shitty. Okay, bye. But first, me and Andrew are gonna do yoga. All right, I'm just gonna put on my makeup, and then we're gonna head over to the club where basically the whole team hangs out. It's a club. We live in a guest house, so we have someone who our host makes us breakfast every day, and you know, she cleans our place, and like it's basically, she's like our family while we're here. But then we have our club, our social, it's like a fitness club, and there's a lot of like fitness clubs and stuff in Bali. So it's like a club where our friends hang out, or people that we're working with, stuff like that. I mean, it's not mine actually. It's funny, it's the startup thing, it's not mine. I don't have any stake personally in the startup. It's completely Andrew. But I feel really lucky that I'm able to witness the whole process without having any stake or liability in it. I feel like people would pay so much money to be exposed to the process, you know, from A to Z of like a huge startup like this. And so I feel really lucky, and I feel like, you know, it's very healing for me too, because this is exactly how my parents worked too. This is how my parents made it. I mean, not exactly. My mom was younger, and they were arranged marriage and all these things. You know, it's very different in a lot of ways. But my mom was there while my dad spent many years trying to make his business work and finding people, borrowing money, partners, this, that, like very stressful. And it's funny that I, not even consciously, ended up finding a partner that was doing the same thing. And actually, it was really hard for me to come to terms with in the beginning it's really hard for me to come to terms with, because I remember I was traumatized from my childhood of scarcity, spending so much time in scarcity as a child, while your parents are like so poor and they're just trying to make this thing work, right? And it's just funny that as an adult, they say that a lot of times as an adult, you're trying to fix the problems of your childhood in some ways. So here we are. But I feel like after the past few years, especially because I've been focusing a lot on healing, releasing my emotions, healthy stuff, like I've been really focused on my body and healing and talking through things. I feel like I've really come to terms with a lot of this stuff, you know, doing anything that built, like investing in yourself long term, building a business, all these things, you know, a lot of it just requires finding a way to feel safe and comfort in the discomfort, finding a way to feel safe and not knowing. We don't know when the money will come. We don't know when, but it's like this with everything that I've ever done in my life. This process has been really good for me. And I've watched Andrew go through a bunch of startups. The first startup he had started it before he met me. That's actually how I met him, he was working on that startup. I somehow became the focus of deep shit of the people in that startup. I became like the focus of their problems. I think they were already having issues with Andrew. I think there was a lot of drama in that startup because the people were not getting paid. Well, obviously because it's a startup, but they were poor. They had no savings. They were just in a very bad situation. Like most Americans, they were struggling. They had health issues. They should not have been in a startup or anything businessy like this. They needed to be they needed to be in an established place. Andrew's machine was not established at all. It's very scary, you know. For me, it was very scary, even though I grew up like this. I was traumatized by it, you know, when I was a kid. You know, living for so long, not knowing when you're going to get your bread. You're always borrowing from other people. You're always scrapping. You're always saving money, this, that, you know. It's not for everybody. But for a lot of people, a job is just not an option because, you know, for me, like, I just kept getting fired from every job or quitting from every job or having issues. Like, some people, you get to a point where a job is just not an option. So this is the only option. So you just have to find a way to be okay with it. And if you do, it's very rewarding. Because if you do make money, like, if you guys haven't read my book, I definitely recommend that you read it on how I'm surviving, how I've survived until now, stuff that I've done, my little tactics and house hacking and whatnot. Right now I'm focusing more on online income, drop shipping, and yeah. So I will now take you guys with me. So before we go, I just want to show you my outfit that I wear every single day. So I always have a backpack. In my backpack, there's a laptop and charger, which Andrew used to carry, but now I have it in here because it fits. And there's a few things like my chargers, stuff like that, little things I like to use throughout the day. My sprays, I have like a mosquito spray, I have like a spray for my rose water spray. And what I'm wearing, I always wear a bathing suit. So I always wear a bathing suit under my clothes. And these are the clothes that I wear on top. And it's really easy.
What's up with those shorts?
They're Andrew's. So they're Andrew's shorts that we ordered in Mexico, but they were too small for him, so I wore it. And they're very comfortable. I always wear shorts. Even if I'm wearing a dress, I always wear shorts underneath because I can put my stuff in it. I don't like wearing a purse. There's too many things. I mean, I have a backpack already, but like just money, cash, like earphones, phones, stuff like that. So I always have shorts and like something that I can wear, and all my clothes I can wear while I'm wet. So if we go to swimming, we pretty much go swimming every single day at the club. So yeah. And sometimes I bring with me this. It's like a waterproof dress skirt thing. So if I want to like not wear this whole outfit and I just want to wear my bathing suit and the skirt, just wear it like that on top. And it's very comfortable, it's like waterproof, and that's it. Hello. So yeah, that's it. There's my beautiful man. Bye, Cat, and bye, Andrew's phone. All right, so now we're gonna go to our bikes because this is the island life. Everyone drives around with a motorbike. You can't drive a car. It's just impossible to get anywhere, and it's like there's no room. People have cars, but it's just doesn't make sense. All right. There's Andrew. We're going to drive to our club, and then if Andrew has any other meetings and stuff, I'll try to get in, but I can't go to all of them because I'm not part of the company. So, oh, Andrew's finding a flower.
This is perfect.
Andrew finds a flower every day that falls from these trees to put in my hair because it's good luck.
Yeah.
So usually on the drive, I have earphones in, I listen to something fun and chill, and I put my phone over here so I can control it. And I just follow. Andrew's a fun driver and he drives, and I just follow him. Lucky that Andrew stopped because I've been wanting to try to get this drive. It's like just a gorgeous drive. It's really beautiful, and I can't hold my phone like this, and I don't like my GoPro so much. But it's really nice. We're here at our club, but I'm gonna try to not show any identifying features because I don't want to get in trouble. Andrew looking out the window. So fun fact, Andrew's company is mostly made of people from different countries. Mostly made of people from different countries that speak at least 3 or more languages.
Yep.
Would you say that's the truth?
Yeah.
So what are some of the different people that are working with you guys now?
We have somebody from the Netherlands. We have a guy from India. We have an American. We have somebody from Colombia. We have a guy from Brazil who's just getting started.
You have a Mexican?
Yeah.
You have a Mexican? You have a Taiwanese?
Yes. A Taiwanese person is helping us out a little bit. There's
you have Indonesians?
Of course we have Indonesians.
They're the founders, and you have the other founders, The Welsh guy.
Yeah, British guy. Yeah, it's a collection of all kinds of different people. So this place we're in kind of is an expat hub. So you collect very interesting people here, and the type of people who are adventurous and want to work on something creative, be a startup, do something exciting. And so the types of people that want to take that risk for a greater reward usually end up in places like where we are right now.
Yeah, and this is interesting because I talk about this a lot in HHA. Like, these people are like multilingual, very entrepreneurial. Like, even if they aren't working on a successful business right now, they have in the past. They're very like familiar with the lifestyle. They're, remote, stuff like that. So now Andrew's thinking very hard. He's going to work on his laptop while he's waiting for his partner to arrive. The rest of the team will probably get here a little bit later. Then they'll have a few meetings probably. And then maybe me and Andrew will go to Zest. Despite how much I like meat, my favorite place here actually is a vegan place because the food is just so good that it's better than meat. Another thing I want to say about this team that's very different than in the past is that they have access to a lot of things that are like fun, enjoyable type of things, because we're in a place where it's like very fun oriented. It's like a vacation place. So like in the past, a lot of teams that Andrew, and correct me if I'm wrong, baby, like a lot of the teams, like the people that Andrew was working with, like they were working hard and they'd get burned out. But here it's like, so you have the multilingual aspect, you have the aspect of like being accustomed to the idea of startups, being ready for it, living on savings, remote work, all these things, multicultural, traveled, all these things. But then on top of that, you have the aspect of like they are able to take a lot of breaks, and it's still hard. Like even with all this stuff, it's still very stressful to work on equity and to work on any business not knowing when you're gonna get your bread. But it makes a huge difference, I think, right, to have like swimming pools. Like we go swimming every day, spa, sauna every day, massages at least twice a week, sometimes 3 times a week, really good massages. Food, best food ever, coconuts every day, right? Mm-hmm. I'm about to have some lemongrass ginger honey tea. Andrew's going to have a coconut. Would you say that's pretty accurate about...
Yeah, absolutely. It's very important that people who are working in a startup have the ability to relax, because the stresses that come into a startup, it's not necessarily that they're on equity or they're not worried about when they're going to get paid. It's that in a startup, you wear many hats. It's confusing, and you don't always know what your task this week or even today is going to be. Like we have a very technical employee, and he's very, very set in his ways. Very, very defined task. He's used to strong project management. And I've been throwing curveballs at him lately and really trying to get him to do some creative things to cover some different gaps in the company. And he's getting used to it. He's getting used to this idea of me plunking down next to him, throwing all the project management in the trash and just saying, hey, I need you to do this by tomorrow. In order to get past that, he just requires a good explanation. He wants to know why we're deviating from project management. So it's like this stress of working with these things, and being able to take breaks, being able to take time for
meditate,
yourself.
Yoga, process your feelings, process the process. Like Andrew, a lot of it, what Andrew does all day is strategizing. Like, what do we do next? What do we do next? What do we do next? He's like playing. It's like war. Andrew was reading Sun Tzu's Art of War yesterday for the 50th time.
Yeah, as stereotypical as that is. But yeah, my days are spent thinking and strategizing and managing people, and trying to protect them. So I just talked about this dynamic of like, oh, you got to switch to some other weird arbitrary task, but really trying to protect them from that as much as possible, keeping them in their lanes, keeping them feeling good and calm, and knowing what's happening is very important, because startups can be crazy, and startups can feel just like this gauntlet of stuff coming at you from all directions. So as best I can, my days are spent kind of trying to take the guesswork out and make sure everybody has structure and make sure everybody knows what they're doing and why they're doing it. And even if we have to throw them a curveball, give them a good explanation and make them feel like it's valuable. So
yeah. It takes a lot. I think it really takes. I think it takes a lot to build a startup.
It does. It's different. It's not a regular 9-to-5 job. It takes a special type of person, and there is a risk, but man, it is fun. And some of the best stories when I talk to other entrepreneurs, they talk about their early days in a startup or whatever. That's where their stories come from. That's the ones they're telling. They're not telling stories from when they're in year 3 or year 4. They're telling about the crazy stories in the first year, the first few months, and the deals that they're making, and the crazy personalities that they meet. And that's, so try to enjoy it while you're here. But yeah, it's fun, it's crazy. Some days you laugh, some days you cry, type of thing.
Do not join a startup without understanding a few things. What are those things?
It's a risk. This isn't stability. This is risk for payoff.
Yeah.
So you're given a slice of the value of the company, and if you succeed along with everybody else in building that company, you're going to get a payout. But you could fall flat on your faces and lose all the time that you put into it. So you really have to know that up front. Also, working on a startup is not working for free. Hold on.
I got a lemongrass ginger tea, and Andrew got a coconut.
And so, like I was saying, you're not working for free at a startup. You're not doing anybody a favor. And if you go into it feeling like you are,
you're going to sink the ship.
You're going to sink the ship. You're in the wrong place, and you're not doing anybody any favors. You really need to realize that you are getting paid.
You're building a business just like you would for yourself.
Yep.
Except you're using the skills of other people in the process.
And you're not doing anybody any favors. Everybody's in the same boat as you. Everybody's working towards the same end. And if you do this and you feel like you're working for free,
you should not be in a startup.
You should not be in a startup. That's not what it is.
Because if you were doing a favor, it means that you're doing charity. It means that this isn't going anywhere. If you believe that you're doing a favor in any way, that means that deep down, you don't think that we're going to succeed. And that means that all of our hard work is going into nothing, that this is a bad investment. So the way that you know that what you're doing also as a startup founder, for Andrew, the way that he knows that he's going in the right direction is when he tells people, no, I don't want you to join my startup. Go away. And they're still like, no, I want to. This is for me. That's how he knows that he's headed in the right direction, is when people see this as a way for them to make money rather than they're putting in their money in a charity or their time in the charity. Like, would you say that's accurate?
Yeah, when you feel like the fish are jumping in the boat, that you don't even need to cast your line into the water, it's a validation that you're going in the right direction. When people they want to be on board.
Yeah.
That's the type of energy you want, and that's how you know you're going in the right direction. And then it's your job to just sustain that, keep the energy moving in that direction.
Someone just walked in and went upstairs, and they were like, basically they're running their own startup. So it's actually in addition to seeing, but I don't want to film other people unless we ask their permission, but in addition to seeing this startup and watching them do their thing, there are actually other startups happening in this exact space. Like, people are making deals, people are doing startups. It's that kind of environment. So Andrew wants to get a haircut because he's self-conscious about his looks.
Okay, so I'm going to correct that statement a little bit. We were just discussing it, and one of the difficult things we have to consider on this island is, the look. Because everybody here is kind of like on holiday. There's a lot of kind of this bohemian vibe. It's the fashion here. And the business fashion here is a little bit confusing. It's not like the United States. So I'm trying to make decisions about what's going to look too formal, what makes me look like a
It's
hippie.
like everyone walks around in bathing suits all day.
Yeah, everybody wears shorts. The locals wear a sarong, which is so the men wear like this skirt thing, right? And then they wear, they kind of got like a head thing going on, a hat type of deal. That's formal business attire here on the island, but as a foreigner, I don't know if I want to go that direction. And I can't wear a suit. I can't really even wear a button-up shirt. It's just not the weather for it. So I know there's you want your leader to project a certain feeling, and we're still trying to nail down what that feeling is.
I think you project it.
What feels good on me, what I like, and what other people respond to. Because honestly, when they see their leader, they want that person to look like, a person they'd follow, right? So yeah, just considering the fashion, I know that sounds really weird, and it's not about like self-confidence at all. Like, I don't really give a fuck. I'll walk around the island with a big old scrappy beard and shorts, but fashion is a tool in the toolbox. What you wear, how you portray yourself, it really is important, and I'm going to use absolutely every tool I can, to succeed. So yeah, just spending the morning thinking about what that looks like.
So we're gonna get a haircut later?
I'm gonna get a haircut, probably shave in the near future. We just came from Mexico a little while ago, and we got very sick.
Yes, people on my channel know.
Yeah, and we kind of laid around like bums, being sick for a long time, and
that was really important. That was how we got better, was by laying around, crying, sleeping, all the things.
Yeah, it was important to just kind of let go, and but now we've gotten much better, and now it's time to kind of move forward and move away from the island bum look, which was a lot of fun. I love it, but yeah, got to think about the image we project.
This is Mr. Ed, and he is Andrew's partner, the guy with the idea that Andrew was talking about. How did you come up with this idea?
I was sitting literally at this spot about a year and 2 months ago, and I realised from being here a long time that there was a big gap in the market, and there was somebody was telling me a story of how they needed an ambulance, and they eventually got hold of an ambulance because there wasn't a set number, and then the guy said, "You've got to pay for it," and he said, "Okay," and then they said, no, here's my credit card. He said, "No, you've got to come here and pay for it in cash, and then we'll come and pick you up." And it just was crazy, so I just started to think about the idea. It was quite a big idea in my mind, but then I started to just write down the nuts and bolts, and it slowly started to manifest. It took time, it's been a year in the making, but
what would you say makes a difference to build a startup here in Bali rather than anywhere else?
You have to have thick skin. You have to be your own champion, because you don't have a lot of support that you'd normally have in another country. In another country, if you're in your own country, there's many grants, there's many chances to raise capital, to take loans, to get support in many ways. But here, you get zero support from the government, and so you've got to work it out.
Yeah, there's no SBA, small business loan or whatever.
Nothing. You've got to I don't want to say fight it, that's the wrong word. You just got to be your biggest champion, and you've just got to trust in your skills. And I've got 2 kids and a wife, and there's something that happens as well there, where you just a switch. There's a switch that turns on, and it's like you've got to make it work.
Yeah.
Because it's not just you; you've got other people who are leaning on you, and so whatever you do, you just got to do it fully.
Nice. And how long have you been living in Bali?
I'm entering my 14th year.
Cool.
Actually, it's 12 years in Bali and 2 years in Java, Indonesia.
Nice. So you've been here basically before it was cool, because you were here when it was much less developed.
I was here when it was a corner of the world still, and
wow.
I appreciate it now, but I really appreciate I've still got those memories.
Yeah.
I've seen it. I've seen those, especially Ubud. It was enchanting. That's the way to explain it. It was,
nice.
Actually, funny enough, yesterday when I was driving to Canggu, it's about 45 minutes. And there's 3 ways to get there. You can like straight, kind of down, and then across, and then I can take the long way round. The long way round, you enter a lot of greenery, so it's kind of rice fields all the way. And I remember I was driving there yesterday, and I was taking my time. I wasn't in a hurry, and I went down this long stretch of rice fields. And I got that smell, and that smell has been missing for a long time here because of the traffic, and you get a lot of fumes and stuff. But I just got that smell again, and wow, it's just great memory.
What kind of smell? Like plants?
Yeah. So, can I do it?
Yeah. It's our language class. We're gonna get started. We're gonna learn Bahasa. Andrew's being a good student.
The dictator. Oh, the dictator. Yes. Okay.
And then the monkey forest spot. When are we going to be able to get eyeballs on that? Take a look at that.
We'll get. I'll contact.
So now Andrew and I are gonna go and get a haircut. Andrew's gonna get a haircut. And he had a few meetings. I didn't actually film all the meetings he had with everybody because I just got Ed. But yeah, we're gonna get a haircut and then we're gonna maybe go to Zest?
I think so.
Yay, I'm so excited. Alright, Andrew's going to get a haircut. Can I film you getting a haircut, baby? There's Anne. Andrew, after his haircut at Boss Barbershop, looking amazing. And the boss barber paused because he knew I was gonna film this, but he left his key. We are at Zest. This is the view of this place, and now I'm gonna be inside. This is Andrew. He's chilling with me here and having conversations with me, even though he is busy and he could be doing a lot of work, and he is going to now work on his stuff, but it's just really nice to take this break and just enjoy the view.
You can see.
So these are Andrew's nails. As you can tell, since we've been healing quite a bit the past few months, this is the part that wasn't healthy, the part of his nail that wasn't healthy, and this is the healthy part. The healthy part, is growing out, and all his nails, I don't know if you can tell in this one, there's also a dent, but
so this one was split, right? And they said that split's never going to heal and grow back, but it is.
It heals, it's healing.
And this dent is where there's a lack of nutrition, and the thumbnail wasn't growing back in properly. But since we got here, it started growing in properly.
Amazing. That's just the difference of a few months.
Yeah.
Healing from being sick in Mexico. Now we're just sitting here having kombucha. Andrew's having his kombucha. There's Andrew putting on his shoes. So we got burned out. And Andrew and I are gonna go for a walk on the trail. There's a really famous trail right across the street from this place. It's gonna be a steep walk, so hopefully we'll be safe and we won't die on the way to crossing the street.
Exactly.
And we just changed into our shoes. We always keep our shoes in our bike no matter where we go, so that's very convenient. It's Andrew. This is a place. This is the entrance of where we just were. We're gonna go outside in the wild. All right, so it's dangerous, but how beautiful is it? This is literally just walking down from the restaurant that we just were. It's very steep. I don't know if you can tell. It's just a very steep little road that comes down, and the turn is very sharp, so we haven't seen an accident here yet, but God, it's like waiting for accidents to happen. There. And where we just were is all the way up there. So yeah, lots of breaks, walking, yoga. Later tonight we're gonna do spa time. This is that busy street, so you go all the way up there, and then if you want to make a right, it's like a really sharp little turn, but you're going down. Okay, so this is the bridge that we're walking across to get to the other side. Those steps. This is where we are. This is the bridge we're walking across to get to the other side.
Like where?
Like if someone got in an accident on the bridge, or they fell in there.
Well, there's a nice set of stairs, so that would help. It's harder when there's no stairs.
So the entrance of the trail is going to be around here, very close. I'm surprised at how easy this is to find. This is it. Going to the hill. This is the trail. Okay. So quiet. Okay. Quiet. Alright. Turn our whispering voices on. So steep. It's very steep. Park here. Alright. So nice. Guys, check out this building, how gorgeous it is. And look, there's Buddha. Right there, there's Buddha. But also look at the building, how beautiful it is. The waterfall. It's just very beautiful sights. I'm surprised that this place is free, because usually all the touristy places, they have a charge. This one is just a nice walk, a nice free walk. Right across from Zest.
Yeah, this isn't really a running trail.
Yeah, I don't know why people said they come running here. Like, where do they...
Changes up here?
Can't imagine going running here. Like, it's hard... Yeah, exactly. You twist an ankle here. But, like, the floor is just very bumpy. You can't tell from the video. There is a giant spider. And there's Buddha. There's Buddha again. He is walking. Buddha does his trail every day. So... And there is a giant spider. There's Buddha.
Because there's nothing to give it context, the size.
So in Ecuador, there was Jesus everywhere we went. Everyone looked like Jesus. But here in Bali, there's a lot of Buddha. Everybody looks like Buddha. Babe, what does Buddha look like?
Bald and white.
Bald, white, and shirtless. So, just to check in, it's 9:35 p.m. in the evening. Andrew and I went on a hike. Andrew had vertigo, and so this. Can you explain when the vertigo tends to happen usually?
Yeah. So my brain's currently compensating from kind of me losing a sense, and so my brain gets tired very quickly because it has to use other senses to compensate. So when I get like a lot of visual stimulation and auditory stimulation for long periods of time, then my brain gets tired. It stops compensating so well, and then I get vertigo. And I'm lasting longer and longer and able to take more and more, just day by day. It's getting better all the time. But yeah, today we had a lot on our plate, and by the end of the day, I was a little tired. My
A lot of mental work.
brain was tired, and the vertigo kind of set in. And
Yeah, so then we went back, picked up our motorbikes. Actually, we came here. We did some spa time, sauna, pool, and now we're having some chicken tikka masala, and then we're gonna head home.
Yep.
That's
our day.
That's our day.
So we started off in this room, and we're ending in this same room tonight. So,
Yep.
Yep.
And I have no qualms about that.